For the pick and drop or water wave, like we call it here in Nigeria. Assuming now I want to have a pick and drop on this drip using this gold fabric. It's a gold lining, silk lining. So assuming I want to use it on this table with the length calculation, and my length is 72. So and I want the pick and drop, that's it, to come cover like this. That's the pick. Then I'll drop it again to make it. It's not a swag, it's a pick and drop or water wave. So I want the front, this length, to have like 6 picks. I want to have like 6 pick on this length. So it will be 72, the length of my table, divided by 6, which will give me 12. So 12 will be my spacing. From here I'll measure 12 from here to this place. That's my first spacing. I'll pin it down. So I'll use the pin as an indicator. From here to the next point is 12. So I'll pin it down also. That will be where where I'll be picking the fabrics. From here, from the pin to 12, I'll pin it down. And that's how I'll pin it down to the edge of the table at that other end. That's how I'll pin it down. So starting the pick and drop, I'm picking it from here and attaching it to the edge, the very edge. So I intentionally left this 10-inch for it to drop at the edge. So I'll measure 45 from there, 45-inch from there. You can make it 60, you can make it 50, you can also reduce it depending on the size that you want. This is 45, this is 45, this is the length of the 45. So I'll just fold it in and pick. I'm folding in the jagged edge, so I'm not picking at the edge. I'll just come to my point 12 and pin it down. You can see it's quite dropped, almost close to the floor. So I would take a full video of it down when I'm through. So from this spot also, you measure 45 down. As a beginner, you may not be able to use the tape rule quite well with measurement. So you can get the wooden tape rule if you are in Nigeria. You can get from any tailoring store. And if you are abroad, you can check Amazon. So you bring it to the next pin, then you pin it down. This is what we call the pick and dropped, or the water wave. From there, you measure out 45. You will continue to measure until you are able to get. You continue and you make sure you measure accurately. So my 45 is here. I'll bring it to the next pin. From there, I'll also measure out 45. So you neaten up fabric. And this is how you just go about it. You just fold it in. You fold it in. Just knitting it up to give you that. You remove all the edges, you put them in. That's how you continue to knitting them up so that the edges will not show. Then you knit them on the inside, just like you can see me do here. You can see the edge is no longer showing there. And here you just I'm using a white fabric here. If you know you could not control, you don't want it to be bulky on the down, then it means you need to cut your materials. But if you are renting the materials, you know you cannot cut the materials that you rent or the fabrics that you rent. So you need to work on here, or you fold them all in. You fold them in so you don't have it too bulky on the outside. You fold them in at the bottom, you fold them in. Once you lift them up, you fold it in this way. So you have it here as curves. It will be as curves. Once you fold them in, you have them out here as curve. You can see they now look curvy. This is a short table. The length of this table is 30 inch. It's 30 inch. So I have it this way down. You can see how beautiful it looks. And if you don't want it to look this way, you can add bow. You can add bows. You can also add flowers to all these points. You can add bows or flowers to all these points. So this is a pick and drop design on the table, and you can see I have the accurate materials. I'm not having much excesses. What I have left here is not up to 1 inch. It's not up to 1 inch. So that's why I said you won't have excess materials, and you won't waste money, especially if you are renting. If you are buying, you know what to cut, that you won't waste your materials. For this we needed 7.5, at most 8 yards of materials, and when I measure it out, I was having 7.22 inch. So we're able to have the accurate measurement of the fabric that I needed just for the front. And if I work with the side also, I will have to calculate it, the length of the side, the spacing and the length of the size will give me, if I want to add it to the side, I will be having 3 by the side, and the 3 would give me like 3.25 or 3.5, at most 3.5 years. Will be able to drape the side also, just like I did here. So assuming you want to pick and drop on the wall, then you take the length of the wall. How many drapes, how many picks do you want the wall to have? When you take the length of the wall, assuming your length is like 110, and you want the picks to be like 10, you divide 110 by 10. That's 110 inch by 10 inch. So when you divide it, your answer will be what you work with. So this one is quite easier because you'll be able to determine, okay, I want it to have like 20 on the wall. You will determine how you want it to fall. Do you want it short or you want it long? If you want it short, how you determine, like here I'm having 45, this from this point down to this spot is 45, from this spot down to this spot is 45 also. So I have it accurately, it's the same length all through. You can change your variation. You can decide that, okay, I want this one to be 45, I want this to be 25, I want this to, depending on the design that you want to make. I can decide to make it high, low, high, low, high, low. That 45, 25, 45, 25. I can make it 45, 30, 45, 30, 45, 30 till I'll get to the end. It depends on you. And I can also make it 60. 60, 60, 60 all through. I can make it 50, 60, 50, 60, 50, 60, depending on the design that you want it to have. You can make it double. You can double this fabric. Like now I'm having a gold. I can decide to lay on it a lemon back, just like the backdrop. This tutorial that I'll be working on backdrop. I'll be making the wave in different materials. It will be in my next tutorial. So watch out for it. So there you can double it. Even you can double the table. So you pick it depending on how you want the waves to be and the design that you want it to be. So in that next tutorial, I'll be talking about the different type of waves that we have, either in table skirting or in backdrop.